Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a challenge, something that often blindsides people, right, when they're making those big international moves. You know, you've maybe landed that amazing job overseas, or you're launching a business, maybe investing abroad. Everything seems set.
Right, the exciting part.
Exactly. But then, bam, bureaucracy. There's this one crucial U.S. document, your I-797 Approval Notice, and it needs this special government seal to actually work internationally.
It's a common sticking point.
And without it, those carefully laid plans, they can just poof, evaporate.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack this. We want to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Yeah, that's absolutely the mission today. We want to give you real clarity, a practical roadmap, basically, for making sure your I-797 is globally recognized.
And avoid the pitfalls.
Definitely highlight the common pitfalls because they trip up even really organized people.
Yeah.
And then, most importantly, talk about some streamlined solutions. Save you time, money, and frankly, a lot of headaches.
It affects more people than you'd think, right?
Yeah. Oh, you'd be surprised. Thousands every year run into this exact bureaucratic hurdle.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. What is an I-797 Approval Notice?
So think of it as the official nod, the green light, from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS.
Got it.
It's the paper proof that says, yes, we've approved this specific petition or application you filed. Super critical for things like H-1B work visas.
Okay, the common ones.
Right, or L-1 transfers for managers moving within a company. Even those EB-5 investor petitions, where people invest significant capital in the U.S. for a green card path.
So it's undeniably official.
Right.
Straight from the U.S. government.
Absolutely.
Which leads to the big question. Why isn't that document on its own enough when you take it overseas? You'd think official U.S. government letterhead, that should be fine anywhere, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that's a logical assumption. And a painful one when it proves wrong.
So why do you need this extra seal, this apostille?
Well, it really boils down to international trust and legal standards. Foreign embassies, banks, other official bodies overseas, they just won't take the I-797 at face value. They insist on seeing an apostilled copy.
Before they issue a visa or open that business bank account?
Exactly, before they do anything official. And if you omit that seal, your file can just disappear into what they call administrative limbo.
Ugh, limbo. Sounds bad.
It means your plans are frozen. Indefinitely sometimes. And just to give you a sense of the scale here, in 2024, the U.S. issued, get this, 572,000 employment-based approvals.
Wow.
That's up 24% from 2023. And a lot of those people are planning overseas assignments.
Okay.
Then you got the whole golden visa thing booming.
Yeah.
Portugal, Greece, Spain, they approved 3,813 U.S. investors just in 2024. Every single one needed an apostilled I-797 for their residency.
And businesses too?
Yeah. European anti-money laundering rules.
Yeah.
They now demand apostilles on these U.S. immigration approvals if you want to open a corporate bank account over there.
So it's widespread. And because the I-797 comes from a federal agency?
Exactly. Only the U.S. Department of State has the authority to authenticate it, to put that apostille seal on it.
And countries that sign the Hague Convention, they accept that seal.
That's the key. Hague Convention members recognize that State Department apostille as final proof. No more hoops to jump through in that destination country, usually.
That's a staggering number of people potentially hitting this snag, administrative limbo. That's a phrase that sticks with you. So, okay, we understand why you need it. Let's talk how. How do you actually get this seal? Because you hinted it's not exactly straightforward.
Yeah, this is where it gets, interesting or frustrating, depending on your perspective.
Let's call it interesting for now.
Okay. It's a precision game. The absolute core thing to grasp is that the Department of State has basically zero tolerance for error on these federal documents. They need the original I-797 approval notice.
Original only.
Original only. No photocopies. No staples through it. Definitely don't laminate it. Any little change, a crease, a staple mark, that can be grounds for rejection.
Wow. That sounds incredibly strict. What else trips people up when they try to do this themselves?
Lots of things.
Yeah.
Beyond needing that pristine original, it's often the small stuff. Like the form you need, the DS-4194.
Okay.
You have to fill it out perfectly. Tick the right box, immigration approval notice. And often, they want black ink, use blue. That might trigger a manual review, adds weeks.
Just the ink color.
Just the ink color.
Yeah.
Then there's payment. It has to be a $20 money order, made out exactly to U.S. Department of State.
No personal checks.
Absolutely not. Instant rejection.
Yeah.
And here's a big one. The return shipping label. You have to include a prepaid FedEx or UPS label.
Right, to get it back.
But it must be addressed to a U.S. address, not your new place overseas.
So if you're already planning to be abroad when it's done.
You've got a problem. You need a friend or service in the U.S. to receive it. We see this mistake all the time.
And each of these mistakes, like sending a photocopy you printed from the USCIS website or that overseas address label.
Each blunder, seriously, can add 3 weeks, maybe more, to the process. Plus, you're paying for another courier shipment to fix it and resend everything.
3 weeks per mistake. And another courier bill. That adds up incredibly fast, especially if you've got a visa deadline looming or a business deal hanging in the balance.
Exactly. The stakes are high.
So let's imagine someone's incredibly careful. They navigate all those potential landmines.
Yeah.
What's the sort of best case scenario timeline if you do it yourself, assuming 0 errors first try?
Well, even if everything goes perfectly smoothly, it's still a process with several steps. First, you have to carefully prepare and package that precious original I-797 so it doesn't get damaged.
Right.
Then you ship it to that very specific State Department address in Sterling, Virginia. It's a P.O. box, by the way, 1206. I kept it dry. Got to get that right, too.
Okay.
Then the State Department itself processes it. Right now, the median turnaround is about 11 business days. That's actually better than it was a few years ago. It used to be closer to 17 days.
So 11 business days inside their office.
Correct. Then you have the return shipping time back to that U.S. address.
Yeah.
So you add it all up, prep, outbound shipping, processing, return shipping. Even with 0 mistakes, you're looking at roughly 18 calendar days, door to door.
18 days, best case. But hitting that 0 error mark sounds like the real challenge.
Absolutely is. That's where most people stumble.
Okay, so 18 days if perfect, potential for weeks and weeks of delays plus extra costs if not. That really paints a picture. So what does this practically mean for someone staring down this requirement, maybe already feeling the pressure of an international move or investment deadline? Is there, a smarter way through this maze?
It means that, yeah, the DIY road exists, but it's genuinely loaded with potential for error, delay, and significant hidden costs. And that's precisely why specialized services have emerged to handle this exact complexity.
Makes sense.
And when you look at some industry stats, the value really jumps out. There's like a 7.8% rejection rate just for I-797 packets missing that DS-4194 form, just forgetting the form.
Almost 8% rejected for one missing paper.
Yeah. And think about courier costs. The average for sending, say, a 15-page immigration packet in 2025, it's around $66.40 each way. If you have to resend it.
It adds up fast.
It really does. So a service like, for example, ApostilleFBIReport.com, they're built to avoid all this. We do daily courier drops right to the State Department.
So you skip the general mail queue.
Exactly. Your file gets into their internal processing faster. We also handle something called second leg legalization.
What's that?
That's for countries not in the Hague Convention. After the U.S. Apostille, the document also needs to be authenticated by that specific country's embassy here in the U.S. It's another layer, more time, more complexity. We manage that whole second step, too.
Okay. That sounds complicated.
It can be.
Yeah.
Plus, we offer things like a real-time tracker. You can literally see where your document is in the process from your phone. Flat rate pricing, so no nasty surprises. And, we track our performance over the last 12 months. We had a 95.9% on-time delivery rate for these I-797 Apostille projects.
96% on time. That's impressive given the variables. It definitely sounds like it lifts a huge weight. But just playing devil's advocate, what's the main trade-off someone should think about between using a service like yours and toughing it out themselves beyond just the obvious time and shipping costs?
I'd say it really comes down to expertise versus risk.
Yeah.
Going DIY saves you the service fee up front, absolutely. But you're taking on all the risk of making those errors. And as we've seen, those errors lead to hidden cost delays, reshipping fees, maybe even jeopardizing the whole reason you needed the Apostille.
Right, the visa or the investment.
Exactly. Using a specialized service, you're essentially paying to eliminate that risk. Because we do this every single day. We know the quirks, the latest rule changes, the common mistakes. Our process is designed to catch problems before they lead to rejection. It's really about buying peace of mind and guaranteeing accuracy.
And we have seen how critical that precision is. I remember a case study, Linda, a biotech exec from Boston.
Oh, yeah. Linda's case was a classic example.
She'd invested, $800,000 in a Portuguese biotech fund for a golden visa. And she needed her I-797C receipt and her I-797 approval apostilled urgently.
Right. And she first just mailed photocopies to the consulate in Portugal. Thought that would be okay.
A big mistake.
Huge mistake. They rejected them immediately, of course. And she only had 14 days left on her visa clock. Total panic mode.
So that's when she reached out.
That's when she found us. Our team jumped in, helped secure certified duplicates directly from USCIS because her originals were maybe compromised, completed all the DS-4192 forms perfectly, black ink, everything.
Got it into your daily courier drop.
Exactly. Straight into the State Department workflow. 11 business days later, those apostille notices landed in Lisbon. The Golden Visa office there cleared her file the same week.
Wow. That's the difference between potentially losing an $800,000 investment and getting her visa.
Precisely. It highlights just how vital getting it right the first time and quickly can be.
Definitely.
And, we get asked a lot of the same questions about these I-797s. Maybe we can run through a few common ones quickly.
Yeah, great idea. Like a rapid-fire FAQ.
Okay. First, what versions of the I-797 actually qualify? Good news here. I-797, I-797 ABC, even if it's just a receipt notice, not the final approval, and I-797E. They'll all work for an apostille.
All of them.
Yeah.
Do you need to get it notarized first?
Nope. Federal documents like these, they're considered self-authenticating, no notary needed.
Good to know. How recent does the notice need to be? Does it expire?
Well, technically they don't expire for apostille purposes, but foreign authorities often have their own rules. To be safe, under 6 months old is best. Some offices might accept older ones, but it's riskier.
Okay, under 6 months is the safe bet. Can I just walk into the State Department building in D.C. and drop it off?
No. That used to be possible years ago, but walk-in service has been suspended for a long time now. Indefinitely, really. Only mail or courier submissions are accepted.
Mail only. Got it. Last one. Translations, if you're sending it to, say, Spain.
Yes. If the destination country's official language isn't English, you absolutely need a certified translation of the I-797 and the apostille itself, usually. I know I sound like a broken record, but never staple the translation pages to the original I-797 or the apostille.
Do not staple. Okay, message received. That's super helpful. Cuts through a lot of the noise. So wrapping it up, the value proposition seems pretty clear. It's speed, it's accuracy, it's having support, and just getting a streamlined, hassle-free experience.
That's the goal.
And this kind of service, like yours, based near Boston, you help people everywhere, right? All 50 states, even U.S. citizens already living abroad.
Absolutely. We serve clients across the U.S. and expats worldwide. Geography isn't a barrier. We ensure fast, secure processing wherever you are. It's about handling those crucial documents with the care and professionalism they demand.
Letting people focus on their actual international plans, not the paperwork headaches.
Exactly. Let us handle the bureaucracy so you can focus on your global goals.
So the bottom line seems to be, getting an I-797 apostilled for international use, yeah, it can be tricky, definitely complex, but reliable help is out there. And knowing this stuff quickly and effectively seems crucial when the stakes are this high.
It really is. So for anyone listening who needs this solution, you can apply right online. It usually takes just about 5 minutes to fill out the form and get your I-797 lined up for today's courier batch to the State Department.
5 minutes online, okay.
Or, if you prefer to talk to someone, just call us at 978-424-4629. That's 978-4629. That's 978-424-4629. And hey, if you happen to be in the Boston area, you can even visit our agency in person. We're at 1215 Main Street, Unit 115 in Tewksbury, Massachusetts.
Online, phone, or in person in Tewksbury, great options. Okay, so as we close out, here's something to think about. What really stands out to you about making sure your big international plans aren't derailed by something as seemingly small as a misplaced stamp or using the wrong color ink? We really hope this deep dive armed you with the clarity and maybe the confidence to tackle the specific bureaucratic beast head on, because ultimately being informed is probably your most powerful tool for seizing those global opportunities.